Best Media Podcast Network.
Got some news coming out of Minnesota. Once again, from the We Can Always Tell crowd, strikes again, and this time it hit another innocent person. Let's get into this. Good evening, demons and demonesses. Kwame Wahkan here, and this story comes out of Minnesota, and it involves a young lady that went to Buffalo Wild Wings and was treated very, very disgustingly by store employees. So imagine, it's Easter, you go to have dinner with your family, and then you have to go to the washroom, to wash your hands, and a waitress follows you into the washroom and forces you to expose yourself to prove that you are who you say you are. Well, I have a video of that, and, let's just get into it.
We went in there and right away, the people were just rude. They gave us our menus, didn't even tell us Happy Easter when they were telling everybody else Happy Easter. And the whole time she was just looking at us, giving us dirty looks and talking to her workers, whispering and stuff about us. So I definitely will never go back there.
This case is not a surprise. It's just a sign of the times and what's happening, and that's super frustrating and a little scary.
Gerika is pretty easygoing. She's very easy to feel comfortable around, kind to people. When she told me what happened, I felt enraged. It was cruel and humiliating.
So our client Gerika, she was at Buffalo Wild Wings with her friend, and they were just enjoying dinner. And Gerika had to use the bathroom, so she went to use the women's room, as she always does. And her waitress came in, banged on the stall door, accused her of being a man or a boy in the women's room, forced her out of the stall, and eventually made her unzip her hoodie to show that she has breasts. She was wearing a shirt, but that she wasn't allowed to leave the bathroom until that happened. It's really upsetting. It should never happen to anyone. Our client's only 18 years old. She's still in high school.
This wasn't the first time something like this happened, but this is the worst time. Because other people, they just say, this is a girl's restroom, and they just go on about their day. But this one, she kept it going. She was, mad screaming. She made me feel, very uncomfortable. Now, after that, I just don't like going in public bathrooms. I just hold it in. And now, I just think, oh, I'm going to get harassed. I'm going to keep getting harassed like this.
She should be able to use the bathroom in peace in any public bathroom without being nervous.
Minnesota has a great law. It's the Minnesota Human Rights Act. So in Minnesota, a restaurant cannot discriminate against someone because they're gay, or because they're transgender, or because they don't conform to sex stereotypes, or because someone perceives it, right? So Gerika, in our case, she's not transgender, but I don't know if her waitress thought she was, but you can't discriminate against someone because you think someone's transgender either.
We've been seeing for years the rise of these so-called bathroom bills and these sorts of things. There's this anti-trans panic. One reason it's problematic is that it harmed an 18-year-old girl who was just trying to go to the bathroom.
This transphobia that's happening, it really affects everyone, and it's really bad for everyone because stereotypes come to the forefront. There's expectations then about what women should look like, what women's bodies should look like, and if you don't meet those stereotypes, you're going to be targeted. Everyone needs to use the bathroom. It's something most people can take for granted. So if you're someone who's never thought about that, spend a day just going out and thinking, how many times am I using a public gendered facility, and do I have to worry about my safety when I do?
This is a serious issue that people are dealing with, and it's not okay. Don't normalize this. If you're in the bathroom and you hear this happening to somebody else, you need to say something.
I just want people to know they're not alone, they're not the only people this happens to. It's okay to stick up for themselves and be okay with who they are.
So, great video by Gender Justice. If you guys have the opportunity, I suggest you subscribe to their channel. They currently only have 150 subscribers. You know, it's crazy. I thought my channel was small. Apparently, they're smaller than me, so let's get them up there. They definitely deserve it, especially for this well-made video. Now, once again, like I said before in many of my other videos, how many times did we tell you this shit was going to happen? Literally how many times? They always say, oh, well, we can look and tell, or, oh, well, you shouldn't put your pronouns in your bios because we can usually tell by your profile pic. Well, then how do you explain this shit? And that goes to show you how insane we've gone as a country, that we literally have to ask women if they're women because we're so bloody transphobic. And that's the thing, you know, these bathroom bills and these bathroom laws, aren't they meant to, you know, protect women and stop women from being sexually harassed in the bathroom? Well, what the hell do you call this? We have to, you know, unzip your hoodie and, you know, lift your shirt up just to prove that you are who you say you are. All that, I mean, what's next? Are we going to put cops outside the bathroom? Are they going to have to check your ID? Are they going to have to grope you just to make sure? Are they going to have to pull out a magnifying glass and inspect your private parts just before you get into the washroom? Come to think of it, let me not give them any bright ideas because, you know, if you can think of something crazy, chances are the right wing is going to try and do it anyway. But this doesn't end there. This is actually a nationwide epidemic. Just last month, something had happened to another woman, and this woman isn't transgender. This is a lesbian woman, and she was beaten up and attacked inside of McDonald's. I have a video of that too. Let's play it.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but they called me a and I got really upset.
Kitty Grass walking us through a horrific beating inside this McDonald's in Carpentersville last Tuesday. An argument over what she says was a derogatory slur over her sexual orientation quickly escalated into a beating by two males.
One hit me in the jaw and one was hitting me in the front, and then I didn't realize that I was getting hit from behind until a little bit later. Like, it took me a while to realize.
The 19-year-old was in town visiting her 13-year-old cousin for a choir concert. She unfortunately became a witness to the violence.
I was unconscious when they were stomping on my head, so I don't remember that part, but my 13-year-old cousin does.
Carpentersville police have now arrested 19-year-old John Camera of Elgin, and a 16-year-old turned himself into police. Both are now facing felony charges.
When I saw the look inside his eyes, he had no emotion, and he did not care if he was going to end my life that day.
And while the bruises on Katie's face and body are still present, her resolve is unshaken. Neither is her spirit.
These are not men, no matter what their ages are. They were little boys, and they were cowards. And they both ruined their own life, and their reasoning was not okay.
Katie is now on her road to recovery. She tells me from this horrific incident, she actually became inspired to apply for the police academy. Reporting from Carpentersville, JC Navarrete, NBC 5 News.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.
Now, once again, I noticed this is like an ongoing pattern. Like, what is up with the media? With them not showing the mugshot. I can understand the minor, but this is an adult, a 19-year-old man. Well, I guess it's my job to do what I have to do again. I have the mugshot. I will post it on screen in full color so you can see exactly who done this shit. Here we go. Is anyone surprised? I say this all the time. Is anyone surprised? Every single time, it's always this exact type of people. This exact type of people are always doing it. All this transphobia and all these anti-bathroom bills, all it does is encourage more violent and bad behavior from people that otherwise probably wouldn't even be doing shit like this. But then again, you know, who knows how this lad was raised up? Who knows how this lad felt prior to all of this stuff happening? So maybe he was just using that as an excuse. But to Miss Grass, I'm hoping for a full recovery, and honestly, good on you for joining the police department. Representation matters, and hopefully you can make a positive difference in your community. And to the two lads who done all this, let's hope the judge throws the book at him. If I understand correctly, Minnesota has some really tough laws against this shit, so to the judge that's taking this case and, the prosecutor that's, doing all this, don't show them any mercy whatsoever. Make an example, because this shit has got to stop. Also, one other thing I want to add. What's up with this whole LGB movement? People are trying to do, that we're the LGB without the TQIA. No intersex, no trans people, no asexuals, none of that other stuff. Just gays, lesbians, and bis. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, where are you guys at? Like, this woman wasn't even trans. This was a lesbian woman. Part of the L's, part of the G's. Where you guys at? I'm not hearing you. I can't hear you. You want to buy a vowel? No, seriously, I can't hear you. Does anyone want to buy a vowel? Just because you want to throw another person in the community under the bus does not mean that that bus isn't going to stop for you. It's going to run you over just as well. You open up Pandora's box, now you gotta fucking live with it, yep. But no, it's not over yet. I have another video, and this happened to another cis woman in Walmart. Here's a clip of that.
We have a cis woman whose life has been thrown totally upside down because of all the massive transphobia and all that we have in America. And so this is Danny Davis, who apparently, according to her, was fired from Walmart because people thought that she might be trans. So let's run you through what happened to Danny. Danny was apparently in the women's restroom at the Walmart where she worked when she heard a man's voice shouting from outside the stall. The man yelled a slur for transgender people and said that he was going to beat them up. They were, importantly, don't forget this, they were the only people in the bathroom at this point. So already in the story, we have a man who has followed a cis woman into a bathroom and is now threatening to brutalize her because he incorrectly thinks that she might be trans. Now, beating someone if they were trans, also, I hope we can all agree, utterly unacceptable, but it's got a special level of ignorant irony in this particular case that he thinks the existence of trans women endangers people in a bathroom, but the only one threatening physical violence in the story is him, a cis man. Okay, so Davis, who again is not transgender, said that she feared the man thought she was trans because she's 6'4". Apparently, this guy doesn't realize that some women are tall, and it drove him mad. Anyway, she hid in the bathroom until the man left and told her supervisor what had happened. That's another important part of the story. She told her supervisor about it. She was fired a week later, which seems unacceptable. Here's their reasoning. Her immediate supervisor was supportive when she reported the incident. So she was shocked and confused when she was fired around a week later for not reporting the incident to the right managers and thereby creating a quote security risk. Now she says, I took it to mean that I was the security risk because someone had mistaken me for being trans. Again, they were the only people in the bathroom. So they're not talking about the guy. They gotta be talking about her. What's the risk here? And think about that. She told her supervisor. If other people need to know about it, how is that not the supervisor's obligation? Why is the onus entirely on the woman who was almost beaten at her workplace to make sure that everybody in America knows about it? But that's the rationale that they provided for firing her. Now, since then, they've said that they have reviewed the incident and made attempts to invite her back to her job with back pay, saying we want our associates to feel safe and supported in their workplace, and we won't tolerate bullying or threats of violence against our associates or customers. And I guess it's better now that they've reached that point, but that certainly isn't what was front of mind for them when they fired her, when they gave that reasoning for it, and seemingly waited until it became a news story before doing something about it.
So what have we learned from this clip? Well, apparently if you're a woman and you happen to be too tall, well, guess what? You're also on the chopping block too. We gotta inspect you. And what's funny is that I've read many articles covering this one particular story. And I go in the comment section, and it's a bunch of right-wingers somehow trying to blame this on the left. Make that make sense. You're the one that passing all these bathroom bills, but somehow it's the left's fault that your own people are attacking cis women in the bathroom because you happen to mistake them for being trans. So it's laws that you supported, politicians that you voted for, and bills signed by your political party, and somehow it's the left, it's the socialists, it's the communists, it's the bloody Democrats, and you know, is the you know, and that's the thing about conservatives. Aren't conservatives all about, you know, accountability and personal responsibility? Why don't you take personal responsibility for, you know, this trans panic and this mass hysteria? Because, you know, it didn't come from the left. But once again, I am not done yet, because like I said, this shit keeps happening. This is from a couple years ago. Another cis woman harassed in the woman's bathroom, well, actually followed in by a man. You want to know why? Because the man didn't like her bloody haircut. Here we go.
Wait, what did you say?
I said you didn't look like a girl when I saw you enter, so I thought it was
a boy?
Yeah, and I was kind of confused when I said this. Are you rich? Yeah, you know, so that's the only reason now that I see the woman. Is that a problem?
Yeah, that's pretty good. See?
You know, it's difficult. You dress like a man. Of course, you dress like a man. So, yeah, you dress like a man.
That's the shit we do.
Now, mind you, that happened like years ago. But the fact that this is still happening, and the same side that claims that they care about women still continue to do absolutely nothing about this. You see, another argument that conservatives make is, oh, well, it's because this trans movement is making too much progress. Oh, Bill, because of all the screaming and your activism that the trans community is doing, this would have never happened to a woman 10 years ago. Well, I have another video from exactly 10 years ago of, guess what? Another cis woman being harassed in the bathroom. Here we go.
A Connecticut woman who sports a pixie haircut says she was harassed in a Walmart restroom by a woman who apparently mistook her as transgender. After posting a Facebook video about the incident, Amy Toms said she's been threatened by internet trolls and called a lesbian and whore. Toms told the Daily News, "People have irrational fears. I'd like for them to know this simply isn't something to be so angry about." The 22-year-old said in her video she was using the bathroom at a Danbury Walmart Friday when a woman suddenly approached her from behind and yelled, "You are not supposed to be here. You need to leave." The woman then flipped off Toms, told her she's disgusting, and stormed out. She was left shaken by seeing the hysteria firsthand. Toms said she didn't report the incident, and Walmart did not respond to messages from the Daily News. The retail chain has remained silent on the topic of transgender bathroom use.
So, demons and demonesses, if we learned anything from watching all of these clips, all of them, and hearing the words of many, many conservatives, and let's be honest, they're probably lighting up the comment section right now on either this video or any other video I've posted. Every time I post about trans rights, they're like always lighting up the comments. They always argue, oh, well, we have to protect women. Well, let's just say this. Be fucking honest. You guys don't give a shit about women. You guys don't give a shit about the safety of women. You guys don't even support women's rights. Alright? This whole thing about protecting women is nothing more than an old played out talking point that you've been using for decades. And I think it's utterly stupid how you think that we're just going to fall for all this. What about these women? What about these women that you constantly mistake for being trans? What about them? Do they not have rights? Are we going to hear any apologies? Well, we already know the answer is going to be no to that because the truth of the matter is you don't give a shit about women. Just like you don't give a shit about gays and you don't give a shit about trans people. So why even bother with the fake bloody story saying, oh, we have to protect women and children? Mind you voted for a party that cut children's cancer research. You voted for a party that, wants to lower the age of consent. You voted for a party that, won't even release the bloody Epstein files. You voted for a man who was found liable for sexual assault that partied with bloody Jeffrey Epstein. He was best friends with him. And why is it that members of your political party are always found to be, possessing CSA and CP, or in worst case scenario, they're the ones actively, involved in committing those acts? I guess the party of personal responsibility doesn't really give a shit about that either. But this video has gone on for quite too long now, and I'm sick and tired of saying all this. But I guarantee you, this isn't going to be the last we hear some shit about this. I guarantee you, a month from now, a couple months from now, another cis woman is going to be harassed, and these same religious conservatives are going to find a way to blame trans people in the left for it. Oh man, I can't believe 4 more years of this bullshit. 4 more bloody years. That's all I have to say about this. Just let me know what you think. You guys stay safe, stay metal, hail Satan, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.